Hey. Happy May Day. Happy May 1st. Happy Mania to you. I am so excited to be here with you today. Finally, the long-awaited reveal video of my 4 new cross-stitch designs coming to you now. Finally. I continue to chase the light around my house. It's still rainy here in Maryland, and today I welcome you into my bedroom where the light is good. So I have lots of information with you. I'm going to try to go through these 4 products in a good amount of time. I will let you know that while this video is posting, I am also sending a newsletter to shops, meaning they'll have it when you watch this, of my 4 new releases, and they'll have all of the information you need for kitting, for ordering, for getting supplies, and through your shop's brick and mortar LNS online store is how I'm asking you to order these products right now. They will be in my shop soon, but for now I want to send all the support and business I can to small shops, so I ask you to do the same and place your orders with them. If you call and they say, I don't know what you're talking about, she doesn't have a design named that, whatever, let them know to check their email because it's probably in there. And I do realize that this is an unusual time for small businesses, so like I said, the designs will be available in my shop, but not yet. I'll let you know when, and I thank you for your support through your LNSs and online needlework shops. Okay, should we do this? I'm so excited. I have lots of information for you about all 4 of my designs. I'm going to give you the basics. I'm not going to read through the thread list, but it will be in the drop down box below if you want to start kitting, if you want to start ordering from your shops and get everything together and ready to go. Yay. I've been singing a lot lately in my videos, and apparently it continues in this video. So without further ado, I am going to start with the piece that I am most excited to get feedback on and to share with you. It is called Aloft. I have teased some images of this on social media and even showed you clips of this way back when in an Instagram live. But here it is. This is Aloft. Let me give you a close-up, and then I'll give you some details on it. There you go. So the first thing you're probably noticing is there's 2 different pieces of linen on this. Yes, that is correct. I used 2 different pieces of Picture This Plus linen that are layered together after stitching. On the instructions or information sheet of Aloft, you will find instructions on how to do this yourself. I consider myself a very novice finisher, and I did it, just so you know. You always have the option to send your finishing to professionals, which I might do in the future, but this was relatively easy, and I tried to be very clear with my directions. You are always welcome to email me questions. So what's happening here? This is a scene of Paris in 1783 because that is where the first hot air balloons launched from. 1783, the Montgolfier brothers invented and launched the first hot air balloon above Paris. It was also the first time humans successfully took flight. So a bit of history here for you. And what you're meant to be seeing is a view of the hot air balloons through the telescope, and then you have a little coin there that says 25 francs. I just love this piece so much. I am so thrilled with how the layered look turned out. I will definitely be doing it again. I just think it adds a lot of dimension, a lot of interest, and really worked well for this telescope view. Now, if you look at this and you're like, nope, you have the option to stitch it on a more neutral or whatever color fabric that you like and fill in the sky background with a solid color cross stitching. I did give you some recommendations in the back information sheet. So that's always an option, but you guys, I just really, really love how this turned out. And I hope you give it a try. I hope you like it. Please let me know what you think. I think this is just super, super cool. And like I said, I plan on doing a lot more with the layering look because I love how it turned out. So basic information for you. This is stitched on 32 count fog and 32 count Arctic linen from Picture This Plus Linen. It is very important that if you are going to layer them, that they be the same count size, because what you do is use one pattern, stitch a portion of it on your background fabric and a portion of it on your blue fabric, and they have to align perfectly when you layer them up. So same count size is very important. Get fancy with or get creative with your colors, but make sure they're the same count, preferably the same dyer and same type of linen. That's just my 2 cents. I don't like to put a lot of requirements on anybody or suggestions on anybody for my pieces, but that is something that is actually quite important. So this is 32 count fog and Arctic. I can never remember that. Arctic. Picture This Plus. It is stitched with 2 strands of needlepoint silk over 2 threads of linen. As with every design I will ever put out for you, there is a thoughtful DMC conversion included on the back. I don't go off any charts. I don't just read and say what other people say. I actually spend a lot of time lining up my fancy floss with my DMC flosses to make sure you have accurate conversions. That's really important to me, and I know I've said it before, but I really wanted to stress it. You will have a good DMC conversion with any chart I ever put out, I promise. Also, with every chart I put out, you will have the stitch count for every piece, as well as measurements for 14, 16, 18, and 20 count linen. So this one happens to be 118 stitches wide by 130 stitches tall, and I had the breakdown down to like 7 3/8 by 8.5 for 16/32 count linen. That's on every chart, but there you go. This is Aloft. Please, please, please let me know what you think. I hope you love it as much as I do. Okay, that's just the first one. Okay, next we have Flowers Always. This might look a little bit familiar if you saw the pieces that I put out at market. Here is Flowers Always. This is a quote from Claude Monet, and I thought it was particularly applicable to the time of year that we are in right now. Springtime, flowers are blooming. Ooh, April showers, now they're bringing the May flowers, and I hope that you like this. This is stitched on 36 count linen colored linen from Weeks Dye Works, and as was my piece released at market that says How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You, it was a vertical, not horizontal piece. It is in a prefabricated 11 by 17 frame, so it's quite large, meant to replicate a farmhouse sign that's often painted on wood. But what's nice is you can get these prefabricated frames at Michael's, Joann's, AC Moore, are there still AC Moores? Any of the craft stores. In fact, I ordered this frame from Amazon after, there were limitations to places you could go. So this is from a store called Barnwood Frames. Ordered it on Amazon. I believe it was $30. They have a variety of different colors, but it works perfectly for this piece. I love it. It is stitched in the Thread Gatherer Silk and Color, one color. It is smokestack. I used less than 1 skein to complete this whole piece, and that thread was a joy to stitch with. I have to just put that out there again because I enjoyed it so much. Let me give you a close-up view of Flowers Always. One thing I thought about when I didn't have enough time to do it is this text for always could be used in so many ways. You could stitch it alone and make a little tag, a little framed piece that says always. It's just, I think it's so sweet. I like the font, I like the words, I like it all, and I hope you like it too. Flowers always. All right. First day of Christmas tree. Now you guys have seen clips of this in my social media. If you've been following me for a while, you know I put out Christmas trees in punch needle form quite a while ago. However, when I started converting all of those to cross stitch, there was one that I put off just with busyness and life, and it's the one that you guys asked for the most. It is the first day of Christmas tree, which depicts a partridge and a pear tree. So I have finally converted it, stitched it, charted it, made it available in cross stitch, and here it is. It is a partridge in a pear tree, done in the same way I have been doing and will continue to do all of my trees for the year. It is on a styrofoam form with a tree branch, a stick, and an antique flower frog. Let me give you a close-up view of this, and then I have lots more to say about this guy. All right, so top down. I'm shaking because I'm a little bit nervous doing this video. But there you go. This is the first day of Christmas tree cross stitch form. Now, if you have any of my trees and you've been curious about finishing, please know that there is a 2-part tutorial on my Instagram in my highlighted stories. They are the little round blocks that pop up right below my profile. There's one part that is on how I make this stitched together tree pocket, we'll say that, how I make this. And then there's another part that is all about how I make the tree form, which is inserted in there, and the base. So go check that out. There is the most amount of details, you follow along in video, and I feel like it's the best way to get a tutorial from me on this. You could alternately finish this as a pillow or cushion, which I think most people are familiar with, but here is the tree. Love it, love it, love it. It is on kudzu linen, which is the same linen that my iced winter tree is on, and this uses the exact same threads that the punched version of this tree uses. Now, I love this. I loved this from the moment I designed it, and as I was converting it to cross stitch, I kind of got carried away in the design process, and somehow, I'll turn this around, you can see just the top over there, I somehow charted it to be a traditional sampler. So that's what I've given you as well. With that one pattern, you have the ability to do your first day of Christmas tree or a sampler, because this is what came out when I started working on it. And this is so lovely, if I do say so myself. Let me give you a close-up view. You'll see all of the similarities. It is that same partridge in a pear tree. The difference is this has an ornamental top, whereas the tree does not. And, obviously this is in sampler rectangular form. This was so fun to stitch. I really, really, really love how this turned out, and I hope you like it too. This is the same chart that you need and will work off of to create both of these. So one chart gets you the instructions and all the information you need to do either one. Which one do you guys like better? I don't even know. I love them both. So let me give you the details on this guy. If I'm really, really lucky, this will be my screen grab. I'll never get that lucky. Okay, first day of Christmas sampler. This is what the back of the chart looks like. The top portion is all about the tree. The bottom portion is all about the sampler. They have different threads, so I made it very clear for you there. The sampler is worked on 40 count fog linen from Picture This Plus. I used 1 strand of needlepoint silk over 2 threads of linen. You of course have the DMC conversion stitch count for both of them because it's the same amount across the bottom as it is high no matter what you do. Is 97 wide by 132 stitches high. 97 wide, did I say that? 132 high. Oh, I'm so pleased with how this turned out. What else do you need to know? There is cross stitches and back stitching in these pieces because I did do some back stitching in the leaves. And I like the layered look that it brings. You don't have to do it, but I decided to do it. Now here's one thing I will point out on the chart. I'm gonna put this down for a minute because I don't want you to think this was an error. Because I'm using one chart for both of these pieces and they are done in very different colorways. One is suited to be in neutral color background, one is suited to be a kudzu green colored background. Some of the colors had to change. So I wanted to make it one chart for both. I didn't want to overcomplicate things. But what you will find when you purchase the chart is that sometimes one color gets a couple different symbols. So this is not an error. All 3 of those symbols use that color. Both of those symbols use that color. Don't think I've lost my mind. It is accurate, and it was just the easiest way to make this work so that you have the most amount of options with the least amount of complications, if you will. So that is the first day of Christmas tree and sampler, all one pattern. I love it. And then we'll finish up this video with the piece I know you guys are really excited for. We've talked about it a lot. I've shared about it a lot. You saw the original, and now you have the reproduction. Look at that. I haven't held these up side by side. Look how close they are. Oh, guys, talk about a fun stitch. We talked about it the whole way through. We talked about the specialty stitches, the colors. I am calling this the Redar sampler. Let me give you some close-ups. This has cross stitches, 4-sided stitches, Algerian eye stitches, and I think that's it. There you go. So what's interesting about this piece is that, like my grain sack sampler, which I released at market, it too was originally stitched on a piece of linen that resembles a grain sack. You can see the banding on the side there. I'm trying to get my face out of the way for you. So I did incorporate that into my design. So you will find a red and blue band on either side of the pattern. It extends up beyond the alphabets and the motifs to resemble actual grain sack material, as if it was stitched on a grain sack. So you'll see that here too. The difference between this piece and the grain sack sampler that I released is that within the grain sack sampler, I actually wove the thread through the linen because that was on 32 count linen. This, however, is stitched on 40 count linen from R&R Reproduction in the colorway Stars Hollow. So that was a much tighter weave and did not allow me to weave that thread through. But if you're doing it a little looser on a looser, higher, lower count fabric, you can certainly do that weave for that grain sack look down the side. So this is stitched on the 40 count linen that I just told you. It is done in needlepoint silk, DMC conversion included. It is all done in, nope, we already went over that. Some fancy stitches in there that are really fun to do. It is a genuine reproduction. I used the colors that I see on the front of this piece. We've talked about this before as well. Some people like to reproduce samplers based on the original colors. They'll flip a piece over and see the pre-faded colors, but I prefer to do an antique aged look. So that's what you have here in the Redar sampler. Let me give you stitch count, kind of bigger than I expected. I guess when it's on 40 count, it, can be a little deceivingly small. It is 229 wide by 216 high, so it's pretty large. I do include instructions about the banding and how to make it look like a grain sack. I also suggest that if you are not a fan of specialty stitches, which you have in these 2 rows, to just go ahead and make those cross stitches. Don't let that stop you from working a piece this gorgeous. I do want to just give a little focus to these little motifs at the bottom. They were really, really fun to stitch. It was a new experience for me, and I really love how they turned out. So there you have that Redar sampler, the last of my 4 releases for May. I hope you guys liked them. Please let me know what your favorites are, what your thoughts are, anything you want to tell me. I want to hear. Like I said, your shops now have a newsletter in their email inbox. Hopefully they've had a chance to read it, open it, look at it, and they'll know what you mean when you call asking for any one of these designs. They will be available in my shop in the near future, but again, please shop with your local L&S online, brick and mortar, whatever you choose for the time being. And thank you for letting me share this happiness with you today. I hope you have a great May Day, and I will talk to you soon.